Tales of war and revolution, stories of disease and survival, intimate portraits of some of the great and fascinating figures who have shaped history. The best historical fiction tells us compelling stories about other times and other cultures, while translating these stories into the present in unique and innovative ways. This course will introduce you to a really marvelous kind of fiction writing. Works of imagination that are set in the past, often the very distant past, while telling stories that bring history alive for present-day readers. My name is Bruce Holsinger. I teach English literature at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. I'm also a writer of historical fiction, so one of my goals for this class will be to teach you about the genre from two different, but I hope complementary perspectives. On the one hand, I'll be lecturing to you from the point of view of a literary scholar who wants to teach you about the history and the development of the genre beginning in the 19th century. So you can think of this part of the course as a kind of toolkit for your future readings in the genre of historical fiction. How do novelists of the 19th century turn to the past, and why? What do they hope to find there? How do novelists work with historical archives and sources? And for that matter, how do they bring often very obscure historical figures back to life in the world of fiction? So those are the sorts of questions that we'll be looking at from the point of view of literary history. I want to help students understand historical fiction as a craft and a form of creative art. So one of the key elements of this course will be our interaction with 5 guest novelists, 5 contemporary practitioners of historical fiction, including a Pulitzer Prize winner and several New York Times bestsellers. Our guest writers will include Geraldine Brooks, Catherine Howe, Mary Beth Keane, Jane Allison, and Yang-Se Chu. They'll be visiting our class, interacting with us on discussion boards. They'll be holding seminars with students on the grounds of the University of Virginia to discuss their own work in historical fiction and how it speaks to some of the larger themes of the course. How do these writers work with historical sources now? How do they work with historical characters that they're trying to bring to life? So whether you want to read some of the classics of historical fiction or write historical fiction yourself, this course will provide an engaging introduction to the genre and the craft. There are no prerequisites, the requirements are pretty straightforward, and anyone with an interest in the past and in great fiction should find it rewarding. Thank you for your interest, and I hope you enjoy the course.